My name is John, but my friends call me Johnny. I'm a 27-year-old man living in Ikea, and yes, I'm a male prostitute. When I first came to Lagos from Warri, I didn't know anyone. I just wandered the streets, and wherever night met me, that was where I slept. One night, while I was sleeping inside an uncompleted building, I suddenly felt a hand inside my pocket. Being a sharp Warri guy, I grabbed the hand and opened my eyes. It belonged to a tall, muscular man. Since I didn't know anyone in Lagos, and I didn't know who he was or what he was capable of, I quickly greeted him and released his hand. He asked me who I was. I explained how I left Warri to come to Lagos to hustle because things were not going well back home. We talked for a while, and then he said he liked me and asked if I wanted to stay with him until I could stand on my own. I was so happy. After sleeping in an abandoned building for 3 weeks, I felt like God had finally remembered me. I thanked him sincerely and followed him home. He lived in a single room, and when I got there, I saw 2 other guys inside. I greeted them, but they ignored me. I noticed these guys stayed home all day, drinking, smoking, and taking all sorts of mixtures I didn't recognize. But once it was 10 p.m., they would go take their baths, dress very well, spray perfume, and leave the house. They told me that whenever I got sleepy, I should lock the door because they wouldn't return until morning. And they did this every day. One day, I gathered courage and asked Sammy, the guy who brought me home, what kind of job they were doing every night. I even asked him if they were security guards. He said no. He didn't want to tell me at first, but after I pressured him, he finally opened up. He told me they were prostitutes, male prostitutes, and that this was how they survived in Lagos. At first, I laughed hard because back in Warri, only women did that kind of work. I had never heard of a man doing it before. It was here in Lagos that I first saw such a thing. Long story short, they introduced me to the business. They explained that the work had levels. I would start from level 1 before moving to level 2. Only after reaching level 2 would I be allowed to follow them to the streets. So for level 1, I needed to package myself. They took me out and bought me nice clothes, perfumes, creams, everything I needed. Sammy told me that once I started making money, I would refund everything he spent on me. I agreed. I asked him if it's just sex we'll be doing, why do I need all these things? He laughed and said, there's more to this than just sex. After about a month of using the creams and soaps they bought for me, I became fresh and fine. Looking at myself in the mirror, I was even impressed. The first night they took me out, they had already taught me how to charge customers, so I was prepared. When we got to the location, my God, men were everywhere. Different shapes, different sizes, different colors. Short, tall, old, young, dark, light, even an albino was there. And surprisingly, none of them wore trousers. They were all in boxes, so their sizes were just showing anyhow. I had always thought my manhood was big, until that night. That night, I realized mine was still learning compared to what I saw. I pulled down my trousers and stood on the road like the others. Just like female prostitutes call customers from the roadside. That's how we stood, like helpless earthworms waiting for buyers. It was such a shameful sight. Grown men with full-grown beards, reduced to selling their bodies to survive in Lagos. After about 15 minutes, a car parked beside us. All the guys rushed to it. A woman, probably in her 50s, was inside. She told me to get in. I entered. But immediately she spoke, her mouth oozed a strong garlic smell. Her teeth were too many to be normal. She rolled up the window and the smell nearly killed me. She asked for my price. I told her, short time is 10,000 naira, until daybreak is 40,000 naira last. She said money wasn't her problem. She just needed someone who could satisfy her properly. She warned me not to start and later complained that I was tired. She asked if I had the stamina. I managed to tell her that she didn't need to worry, that I was a Warri boy, and a Warri boy never disappoints. She moved closer to me and brought her mouth near my face. I almost choked. She used one hand to touch my manhood. It stood up. She started licking my face down to my nipple, then from my nipple to my belly button. When she grabbed my manhood and tried to put it into her mouth, I immediately opened the car door and ran out. It wasn't the garlic smell that scared me, it was her teeth. How could one human being have so many teeth? What if she mistakenly bit my manhood? What would I say? Would I start family life with half a penis? Never. That thought alone made me run for my life. As I jumped out of the car, I opened my mouth wide and inhaled fresh air, breathing heavily. Almost immediately, Sammy rushed over to me and asked what had happened. I told him everything I experienced inside the car. He became angry with me. While he was scolding me, the woman rolled down her window, looked at me with disgust, hissed, and then picked another guy. The man quickly entered the car and they drove off. Sammy lashed out at me, asking if I was really a man. He mocked me for not being able to tolerate a simple garlic smell. He asked if I thought the woman was foolish enough to bite me while doing the job. He reminded me that I owed him money and asked if this was how I planned to pay him back. He warned me that if I wasn't ready to work, I should find another way to pay him and leave his house. He was extremely angry. I kept begging him continuously. While I was still pleading, a black Jeep parked in front of us. Sammy told me my customer had arrived and warned me to behave myself and make sure I brought money home that night. As the window rolled down, Sammy entered the vehicle, and it sped off. I stood there watching cars pick up men one after another. Some of the cars even had men inside, men picking other men. The sight weakened me. Lagos suddenly felt very strange and chaotic. Every kind of evil seemed to exist there. As I stood by the roadside, moving closer to any car that stopped, hoping to get a customer, a Toyota Camry arrived. A woman was inside. Immediately the car stopped. Everyone around hissed loudly. I didn't understand why. The woman asked me to enter the car. Without hesitation, I got in. I desperately needed a client that night. I didn't want it to look like misfortune followed me all the way from Warri to Lagos. Starting a job and not making money on the first day felt like bad luck to me. As I sat down, she greeted me. I responded politely. She asked if I could perform well. I confidently told her to try me, assuring her she wouldn't regret it. She replied that many people talk boldly like that, but when it's time for action, they disappoint. I boasted that I was a Warri boy and that Warri people never disappoint. I claimed she would feel the difference afterward. She said that was exactly what she wanted, someone energetic and intense. I told her my price. 15,000 naira for a short time and 50,000 naira for the night. She said money wasn't a problem and promised to pay even more if I satisfied her well. As she drove, we talked casually. In my mind, I had already planned how to spend my first 50,000 naira. I would give Sammy 5,000 naira as part payment for helping me transform. I'd use 10,000 to buy personal items. Another 10,000 naira would go into household needs, and I'd save the rest. The money hadn't even arrived, yet I had already spent it in my mind. The journey was long, extremely long. I even asked her if we had reached our destination. She told me not to worry. At some point, I jokingly asked if she planned to kidnap me, warning her that no ransom money existed for me or my family. She laughed and insulted me, asking why she would kidnap a poor male prostitute. Her words hurt, but I stayed calm. My eyes were fixed on the 50,000 naira. Eventually, we arrived at her house. As soon as we entered the room, she pushed me onto the bed. I hit my head against the wooden frame. While checking if I was injured, she rushed toward me. Under normal circumstances, I would have reacted angrily. but I reminded myself I was there for money. Things quickly became intense. Her actions were rough and aggressive. She climbed on top and took control completely. For almost 2 hours, she dominated the situation until she was finally satisfied. As she got off the bed, exhaustion flooded my body. I wondered if this was what I would be doing all night. I even thought about death crossing my path before morning. I asked her if there was food or water. She said she would get something and stood up. I asked where the bathroom was and went in to shower. As water touched my body, I felt sharp pain. Looking down, I noticed my skin was irritated and injured from the rough encounter. I felt sorry for myself. If this was the result of just one round, what would happen before morning? I looked up and prayed silently, committing my life into God's hands, asking not to die that night. After managing to finish my shower, I returned to the room. The woman announced that the food was ready. On the table, I saw catfish pepper soup and 2 bottles of beer. Before I could even sit down, she used her teeth to open both bottles. She handed one to me and placed the other in her mouth. She didn't remove the bottle until she had finished the beer. Afterward, she began eating the pepper soup and told me to eat quickly so we could continue working. She reminded me that she was paying me to service her and that what we had done so far was only the first round. According to her, there would be more before morning, and I needed to earn the money she was paying. As she spoke, I felt like punching her, but I restrained myself. I slowly ate the pepper soup and sipped my beer. Even while I was eating, she kept urging me to hurry so we could start again. I told her to calm down, assuring her that I wasn't going anywhere. As soon as I finished eating, she pushed me onto the bed and began touching me aggressively. Despite my discomfort, she refused to stop and kept insisting. This job was not easy. I tried to focus on doing what I was there to do, reminding myself that I was being paid for it. When she noticed that I was struggling, she changed positions and became even more aggressive. Within moments, I felt a sharp burning sensation and immediately pushed her away. Rushing into the bathroom, I sat inside a bucket of cold water. I couldn't understand how someone who had just eaten pepper soup could use the same mouth moments later. The pain was unbearable. Sitting in the water, the burning sensation only intensified. It felt like a fresh wound being exposed to pepper. Tears began to stream down my face as I sat there, thinking deeply about my life and how I had ended up in that situation. While I sat in the bathroom crying, I heard the woman ask if I was okay. I didn't respond. How could I be okay after everything I had gone through? I remained in the bucket of water for almost 2 hours before the pain finally reduced. When I returned to the room, she was fast asleep, snoring loudly. I quietly took pictures and short videos of her and then lay beside her. Around 5 a.m., she woke up and immediately climbed onto me again. I was in severe pain, but I endured it silently. Whenever I tried to change positions to ease the pain, she refused. She stayed on top of me from 5 a.m. until about 8 a.m. before finally stopping. She went to take her bath, and afterward, I went to the bathroom as well. It was terrible. Almost all my skin was irritated and injured. Looking at myself, I felt deep pity. When I was done bathing and dressed up, I told her I was leaving and asked for my money. She claimed she had already transferred it. I checked my account, nothing had entered. She said it was a network issue and told me to leave because she needed to go out. I reminded her that her house was far from mine and asked her to be sure she had sent the money. I explained how much pain I had endured just to satisfy her and warned her not to cheat me. She insulted me, saying she could never struggle to pay someone like me. She told me to leave immediately because she was running late. I left and called Sammy to ask how to get back home. He was shocked when he heard where I was and explained the route to me. At the bus stop, I entered a bus. Just as it was about to fill up, my phone beeped with an alert. I checked it and saw a 2,000 naira credit alert. Story to be continued. Watch out for part 2.